In the electrifying world of women's basketball, where every crossover dribble ignites a firestorm of anticipation and every long-range shot arcs like a promise of destiny, Caitlin Clark emerged not just as a player, but as a seismic force reshaping the sport's very foundations. Picture this, a young phenom from Iowa, her college career a blaze of records and rivalries that drew millions to screens they never knew they craved, suddenly thrust into the professional arena of the WNBA. The Indiana Fever, a franchise long simmering in the shadows of league giants, selected her first overall in the 2024 draft, and with that pick, the league's pulse quickened. Viewership shattered ceilings, revenue streams swelled like rivers after a storm, and engagement metrics soared into uncharted territories. Yet, beneath this glittering surge lay a stark, almost Shakespearean irony, a tale of triumph laced with a bitter sting of undervaluation. For in 2025, as Clark's star burned brighter than ever, her on-court earnings from the league that crowned her barely whispered in the shadow of the endorsement empire she commanded off it. This is the story of a woman whose talent commands the world, but whose paycheck from the game she revolutionizes reveals the chasm still yawning wide in women's professional sports. The 2025 season unfolded like a novel penned in heartbreak and resilience, a chapter where physical frailty clashed against unyielding ambition. Clark, now in her second year with the Fever, found herself sidelined more often than she soared, injuries weaving through her schedule like cruel threads in a tapestry of potential. She appeared in just 30% of the regular season games. Her body a battlefield with a toll of explosive play met the unforgiving grind of elite competition. The Fever, buoyed by her presence even in absence, clawed their way to the semifinals, only to bow out against the formidable Las Vegas Aces while Clark watched from the sidelines. Her fire temporarily banked but never extinguished. It was a season of what-ifs, of flashes of brilliance amid the frustration. Those moments when she stepped onto the court, the crowd's roar a living entity, her passes threading needles through defenses, her threes raining down like judgments from on high. Off the court, however, the narrative shifted dramatically, transforming her from a sideline star into a global icon whose influence rippled far beyond the hardwood. Sponsors circled like moths to a flame, drawn not just to her skill but to the aura of inevitability she carried, the sense that she was the vanguard of a women's sports renaissance long overdue. And in this off-field odyssey, the numbers told a story more compelling than any buzzer beater. Her total earnings for the year clocked in at an astonishing $16.1 million, a figure that eclipsed her rookie haul of $11.1 million and vaulted her to the sixth spot among the highest-paid female athletes worldwide, a four-position leap that underscored her meteoric ascent. Delve deeper into the ledger, and the disparity sharpens into a blade. From the WNBA itself, Clark pocketed a modest $114,000, a sum that, while a step up from her debut year's base of $76,535, represented a mere whisper against the thunder of her endorsements. This four-year contract, inked at $338,056 total, pegged her 2025 base salary at $78,066, a figure that might sustain a mid-level office worker but strained against the expectations heaped upon a player who single-handedly redefined the league's commercial viability. Bonuses trickled in like consolation prizes in a lottery she had already won elsewhere. $30,000 for the Fever's victory in the mid-season Commissioner's Cup final, a quirky payout that outstripped even the spoils of a WNBA Finals championship. $3,435 for reaching the playoffs, stretched now to a best-of-7 format that amplified the drama but not the direct reward. And $2,575 for her All-Star nod, a testament to her peerless talent amid the adversity. Whispers of additional league incentives lingered, player marketing agreements offering up to $250,000 for ambassadorship roles, team marketing packs capping at $150,000 annually. But for a star like Clark, entangled in a web of lucrative private deals, these often felt like afterthoughts, opt-outs in a system not yet calibrated for her caliber. It was a poignant tableau, the woman who packed arenas and spiked jersey sales earning less from her sweat than from a single commercial spot, her WNBA compensation a mere 0.7% of her annual windfall, while the remaining 99.3% flowed from the invisible economy of branding and influence. This endorsement avalanche was no accident of fate but a meticulously orchestrated symphony, each partnership a movement building toward a crescendo of cultural dominance. Gatorade, the hydration giant synonymous with athletic immortality, had claimed her early, envisioning her as the next face of thirst-quenching triumphs. State Farm, ever the steward of everyday security, paired her relentless drive with messages of protection and preparation, her commercials blending Midwestern grit with universal appeal. Wilson, the ballmaker whose leather has witnessed countless dynasties, elevated her to ambassador status, her signature touches on their products a nod to the precision that defined her game. Panini America captured her legacy in trading cards, turning statistical exploits into collectible lore for a new generation of fans. Hy-Vee, the regional powerhouse, rooted her narrative in heartland authenticity, while Xfinity wired her story into homes craving connectivity and excitement. Gainbridge, the insurtech innovator, and Lilly, the pharmaceutical trailblazer, rounded out a portfolio that spoke to health, innovation, and forward momentum. Over 10 sponsors in total, their collective might eclipsing the league's entire payroll for her. Then came the fresh infusions: Ascension St. Vincent, weaving wellness into her warrior ethos, and Stanley, the quencher of adventures, aligning her unquenchable spirit with their indestructible vessels. But the true pinnacle arrived in August, a moment that felt like coronation. Nike, the colossus of athletic aspiration, anointed her as its newest signature athlete. No mere endorsement, this was a line. Age, a bespoke logo etched with her essence, a wardrobe of sportswear that blurred the lines between court and culture, and the promise of a signature sneaker debuting in 2026, poised to stamp her imprint on feet worldwide. It was as if the goddess of victory herself had descended, wrapping Clark in the swoosh and whispering of empires yet to conquer. Zoom out from this personal saga, and the broader canvas reveals a women's sports landscape in flux, teeming with both promise and provocation. The WNBA, galvanized by Clark's gravitational pull, barreled toward a new collective bargaining agreement, negotiations humming with the urgency of a league whose revenues and franchise valuations had ballooned under her watch. Salaries, the union and owners concurred, would multiply, perhaps exponentially, to bridge the gulf between performance and pay, though the blueprint remained shrouded in deliberation. Clark's ledger became a microcosm of the macro struggle. Among the top 15 female athletes of 2025, who collectively amassed $249 million, a mere 30% stemmed from salaries and prize money, a stark inversion of the men's realm where team sports funneled 72% through on-field compensation. Gymnast Simone Biles, her flips a defiance of gravity and expectation, drew every cent of her $11 million from endorsements. Her mat a stage but not a salary source. Free skier Eileen Gu, gliding through powder like a specter of speed, pocketed $22 million with a scant 0.1% from the slopes. Her real earnings in the alchemy of media and merch. Even tennis titan Venus Williams, whose serves once thundered across Wimbledon lawns, claimed just 2.1% of her $10.2 million from the court, the rest a harvest from boardrooms and billboards. Clark stood alone among WNBA peers in breaching the top 15, her New York Liberty counterpart Sabrina Ionescu nipping at the heels but falling short. A reminder that this revolution, while accelerating, still left many in the dust. Yet in her ascent, Clark embodied hope, a beacon signaling that the tide was turning, that the women's game, long starved of spotlight and sustenance, was finally feasting on the fruits of its own fervor. As the 2025 curtain falls on this chapter of Caitlin Clark's odyssey, one cannot help but ponder the horizons ahead. A sneaker line to rival the icons, a league transformed in her image, and a paycheck parody that inches closer with every sold-out spectacle she inspires. Her story, woven from the threads of adversity and adoration, challenges us to envision a future where the court pays as royally as the culture demands. What do you think lies next for this unstoppable force? Will the WNBA's new era finally match her worth, or will she continue to redefine riches on her own terms? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation roaring. If this dive into the dollars and drama of women's sports lit a spark, smash that like button to fuel more stories like it, subscribe for the unfiltered takes on the games that shape our world, and hit the bell so you never miss the next blockbuster reveal. Together, we're not just watching history, we're scripting it.